All right, here we are doing our case study on how we scaled our online fitness company to 1.5 million in 3 years, and why the hybrid online coaching method is the easiest way to scale up your online coaching business in 2024. So if you are a personal trainer, coach, you're thinking about taking your expertise online, you're thinking about hiring an online fitness coach, just watch this before you do. I'm going to show you exactly, it doesn't look pretty. I'm going to show you exactly how we scaled up our business and how you can avoid the three big moments that almost capsize our business with different fitness business coaches, and just how to make your life significantly easier. So to give you a little social proof, because people like that, is here's our ad account from 2021 to 2024. We've spent $250,000 in ads. We have grossed 1.6 million. Our operating expenses definitely look high, but if you are a business owner, you know that when you have extra cash at the end of the year, you invest it into things for the business that are good for the business, but also allow for write-offs. So that's obviously reflected in our net profit. But let's get into it. If you're thinking about starting, I'm going to show you basically what all the other coaches are going to sell you on for 10,000 bucks for 4 months, and how you can just make your life significantly easier than mine. Through this video, we're going to tally up how much I've spent on coaches, phase by phase. It's well over six figures, and you can avoid that and start online much easier if you follow this way. So for all of us, if you're starting out, you're just like me, you have what's called the three spheres of influence, right? You have family, friends, clients, past clients that know you, like you, trust you, love you, know that you do fitness. You maybe have some current followers on your social media that know you're kind of the fit person or your trainer, whatever. You maybe have some local trust. And then the hardest one to tap into, right, is the cold national traffic, right? People just completely across the globe that don't know you. And that's the toughest one to break into. And so basically, I started out here just like everyone else. We closed up our gym in 2018. We moved to Colorado. Wasn't sure what we were going to do, if we wanted to start another gym. The towns are really small out here. And I was like, well, can't do that. Towns are too small for this. I'm going to I need to figure out this online stuff. I don't really have any other skills. So let's go for it. And so the problem with that, and I'm going to show you how you can make it much easier, is like I had no social proof for my offer online. Yes, I had marketing from the gym, but it was all geared towards the gym, right? Like, hey, look at the gym, look how cool the gym is, right? Not like how awesome is my program that solves this very specific problem for this very specific person. And so basically kind of got started, burned through all these leads. I'm like, oh shit, no new sales are coming in, no new calls. I hired first coach. First coach basically was, you're going to send out 100 cold DMs a day. And I even went back, you can see 2020. I pulled up, I probably should have blurred her name out, but you know, eh, you get the gist of it. Hey, Molly, two kids. That's awesome. We want kids one day. Where are you from? Right? How fucking awful is that? I hated this every single day. It was the worst thing. And so it wasn't panning out, and we weren't making money, or it wasn't coming in anymore. And I was like, I got to figure out something. So then comes in uh, coach number two, who had a Facebook group revenue model. So we hired him. You'll see here. I used to be the face of it. We'll talk about why I'm not the face of it anymore. And that comes in with predictable revenue. But you see, I was making all the content, and this worked well in 2021 to warm people up, because everyone was sitting at home. Facebook was still harboring a lot of eyeballs, and it was still pumping out a lot of content from groups organically, right? So I could warm people up with that, and it worked. We scaled up. I think so far at this point, we had done like 300,000 in organic revenue. But the problem was I was exhausted. I was making content, 2 posts a day. I was inviting everyone with this invite button, friending a certain amount of people a day, doing the outreach. Maybe I eventually hired somebody in the Philippines to do the outreach on certain things. Um, but it was just a grind. And I was like, organic was starting to go down because people were going back to work. I wanted to figure out how to not be in such a hustle. I wanted to create predictable revenue in my business with paid traffic. And our coach at the time, his advice was uh, just post more. And so we paid basically 40K for him throughout the whole year. And he just eventually actually just up and disappeared at one point. And so lost money there, which was fantastic. And so at this point, business is losing cash, hemorrhaging cash. We've spent now $50,000 on business coaches. Then we get in touch with this podcast crew who also does a podcast for a very prominent figure. So they just promised all this crazy return on investment. I was like, well, we already do organic. Maybe this will just be an extra good component to the organic that we're already doing in the group. So 40K with them and only 15 episodes and no return on investment. We're even further out of cash. And I was like, all right, I got to figure out something. Um, at, you know, the very brink of capsizing, this is 2022. I'm like, all right, we need to figure out paid traffic. So we hire our first ad agency, and they suck something awful. The images are terrible. They're running, so my wife and I run the business together. They're running traffic with her image and my image, and just nothing's converting, right? I used to be the face of the group. We're driving traffic to the group. And eventually I'm like, I got to figure this out. I got it. Why is this not working? I got into the numbers, and this is where you eventually have to get to if you want to do paid traffic really well. You have to just know every number through the funnel. So you can pinpoint exactly which part of the funnel is breaking down, right? If it's the sales team and they're not booking enough calls and they're not getting enough sales, but you don't have the numbers, you might think it's marketing and you break something that might be working well in marketing. So you have to get to a place where it's numbers. Like you can see, we're spending 3,000, making 16,000, right? And so this is what saved me, was getting clear on how to sell with paid traffic, right? We had done good organic, we had grown that. I wanted to break away. I wanted to create predictable revenue, right? As does everyone. And that's why we switched to women. We realized, right? Her ads were testing better. Why does it come in, and why do they come in and now see a dude's face, right? Women don't want to see that, right? When you're marketing online, you have to understand that it's like a magazine stand. People see what pertains to them. Just like when you buy a car, you see that car everywhere on the road now, or just like when you go up to a magazine stand, you see what you like, right? I see, history, business, and fitness. The kid sees Nickelodeon, and the teenager sees People magazine, whatever it is. It's the same thing with online, with so many messages, so many ads. You have to have a very specific niche. And I'm going to show you how to develop that with much less trial and error than I did, and much less money out the window spending on ads to figure this problem out. So this is where we got to where you need to get to, right? So if you go with other fitness business coaches, they're most likely going to sell you on the cold outbound, which sucks. And this is how every business fills their funnels, right? It's not it's not the platform. It's just the types of leads that you get. This is every business. B2B does really well with cold outbound, right? They, if you have a product that is going to save another company money, time, and energy, right? They're probably going to listen to it, right? They're much more eager for that. But out to some person where you're like, hey, you don't look very fit. Do you want to work with me? Terrible idea, right? Second, that you want to fill, and this is where you're going to start, is outbound permission. I'm going to show you how to do that, create a little bit more trust, and get people who are coming in at least raising their hand, saying like, yeah, I'm coming in for you to outreach to me to give me a certain piece of value. And then lastly, where we got to with the group was the holy grail, which is inbound, right? So people, the way it eventually worked for us, right? If you just want to know exactly what our ads, how the whole process worked, right? That's what I'm trying to show you, is that we just had an ad. Hey, if you're this person, join this group. You're going to get this value. Send me a message. We'll send you the thing to the group, and you'll get this free training inside the group. Boom, they come in. Now they're in Messenger. They send them the group link. And then we also get to ask them these group questions, which butters them up even more, right? Tease them up for us, right? Question one, what's your biggest struggle? So now we already have that, right? Like, hey, this is what I think my biggest struggle is. Cool. I'm going to talk about that. Do you want this free training? Give me your email. They give us the email. So now they go into autoresponder where we're warming them up with an email campaign. And then are you ready to, would you want us to reach out to you, right? Again, asking for permission, like, hey, do you want us to reach out to you? Yes, I do. That's an inbound lead. I raised my hand. Boom. This person, we know their problem. We have their email. They're in our Facebook group. We're messaging them. We got permission to message them, right? Like, we have everything to create a bunch of noise, right? Online marketing, all it is you need to get points of contact and warm people up to your message to stake your claim. They need to see your face. They need to see your message. They need to see your social proof over until it breaks through all the other videos, the cat videos, you name it, whatever's on their feed. breaking through that noise, right? That's all online marketing is, and it doesn't depend on what platform they're on. Um, it can be YouTube, it can be Instagram, it can be Facebook. It just depends on where your avatar is. So for context, right, we've dialed back on how much we spend on the group, and we've pivoted the group from basically ages 48 to 60 because the women's eyeballs that are on Facebook that are qualified are a little bit older, right? The perimenopause, menopausal women. Um, and so we had to develop a whole nother revenue model on Instagram to get that younger woman between 35 to about 48. And so the mechanisms are all the same, is what I'm trying to tell you. You can do it without, you can do the group model, right? You can take this, copy this if you want. Um, but again, like we were losing return on ad spend with this, and we just realized we had to come up with a new revenue model, and that always changes. Online is the same game. It has been the same game since early 2000s, right? Early 2000s, it was Google AdWords for super cheap clicks, and then 2010s, it was Facebook ads for super cheap, right? But now you can do it on anything, right? You can do it on LinkedIn, right? I know guys who have fitness companies that are selling entrepreneurial men on LinkedIn, right? I know um, people who are crushing it with YouTube, right? People watch long form content. Now they're super warm, right? Like this case study, or like us, we're primarily Instagram and Facebook. But basically, you are where I was, right? You have no social proof. So when you broadcast it on these platforms, right? Like who nationally is going to come in and be like, yeah, I want to work with this person, right? You have no proven offer, right? What is the product that you're selling? It's not just train with Gary, right? It's like, hey, this product is going to give you this specific outcome and cut down on the time and energy it takes you to get there. Here's all this social proof, right? You have no niche, right? Most of us personal trainers, I've been there. You work with anyone and everyone that's willing to work out with you, right? You don't have a niche. So we need to get you to niche down in your business now to start getting that social proof. So you don't have to have 3 years of almost capsizing your business and your livelihood. You're going to build up your nest egg, build up all the base work, the foundation you need to get online. So it's seamless if you want to keep going further, right? Then you also probably are like me where you have little to no following. Or if you do, you have to ensure, are they real customers, right? We have a couple friends, women who are attractive. They have a lot of followers. And guess what? 80, 90% of them are dudes checking out their ass who aren't a real customer for them, right? So you have to develop a funnel that is driving in actual people that you want to work with, right? And so the old way, right? Again, it's going to be starting out with outbound. It's going to be a large struggle to get to this holy grail of inbound, which is always going to be the easiest to sell. They're often not going to help you craft out the specific niche. They're selling a lot of people, and they're telling everyone to just post shirtless pictures and pictures of your food, like it was for me. And that's just not going to work this day and age. The market is much more educated than ever before, right? And so again, at this point, I've been 40K with the podcast. I've spent over 40K on one ad agency, 24K on another ad agency, right? So I'm up to like 180K of trial and erroring that you don't have to do, right? So this is the old way, cold outbound, grind, 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 while you try to get social proof up to maybe start getting people cold traffic that maybe want to give you outbound permission and maybe want to give you inbound leads, right? But there's a much easier way, and that's the hybrid way. I'm going to show you that way right now. And so when you do it the hybrid way, you can start out right away at outbound permission and inbound, baby, which is what we all want, which is where you have to get. It's again, all businesses are the same way. They're either filling their pipeline with outbound or inbound leads. And so how you're going to do this exactly, I'm going to show you right now, and then I'm going to give you a chance to get the Instagram scripts and trainings on how to frame the videos and how to launch your local follower ads. And I'm going to tell you why you want to start locally. But basically, you're going to start off by only getting followers to your social media, Instagram, locally. And this is going to allow you to hyper target a very specific person, right? Hey, men in, Eagle County over 30, or entrepreneurial men over 30 in Eagle County. If you've been struggling with, you have your family, you have your business, you're crushing it, but you just don't have your six pack, right? Like follow my Instagram page where I show you how I've helped other local men just like you know, get a six pack, crush it, right? And then they go to they follow you and they're gonna get this extra layer of trust because you're local, right? Like, all right, oh man, this guy's local. Like, not many people are doing that, right? You're creating a blue ocean for yourself versus every other social media influencer is like, look at me, right? Look at my six pack. And everyone's very product aware. Like, I know there's a million of them, but you know, how do I know it's gonna work for me? Right. And then after a few weeks, the nice part is that you can then go ahead and retarget them, whoever's engaged with your page, super easily. Just be like, hey, I saw you've been clicking on my page. You're local. You're somebody who's been, you know, struggling, kind of getting your six pack. You know, I offer anyone locally if they just want to get a free consult to learn a little bit more, like kind of how to get there in a much easier way, right? Just shoot me a DM and we can set up a free training or free consult, whatever it is, right? Retarget them to get that inbound message. Um, and then what this is going to allow you to do is going to practice selling people in person, Zoom, or phone, right? You're basically going to start out where you get a little bit more authority that you haven't necessarily built up on your social media yet to sell people in person, right? And it's going to be harder for them to say no to you because you're selling them in person if you meet them at a coffee shop or your gym or wherever you're training them, right? Or you can do it on Zoom, phone. You're getting that extra layer of practice where you're not going to have to be as good at saying the exact right thing at the right time to build up trust and authority, right? When you're talking to somebody like for us, complete stranger halfway across the world, we have to nurture our way into authority because again, at the end of the day, it's somebody online that I don't know. And if you just come out and saying like you're doing it all wrong, they're going to be like F off, right? And then you need to build trust. And so you already get this extra layer when you're local. And then you're practicing with very cheap lead costs. So when you pay for local leads, they're the cheapest because you're Facebook Meta is going to reward you because not many people are hyper targeting this one specific area, right? And so also people are going to be more inclined to follow you in that specific area who have that very specific problem that you follow. Like, oh my gosh, a local expert, yeah, let me follow that person, right? Um, and then while you're doing this, and I'm going to tell you how you can structure your business to kind of make it flexible, halfway online, halfway not. But it's going to allow you to develop your product market fit. You're going to get these radical testimonials. You can videotape people in person, get a video crew in, get these testimonials that look freaking amazing. Like, where were you at before you worked with John the trainer? My life sucked. I felt terrible, right? You're going to get these testimonials that when you start broadcasting your marketing further, right, you have everything all the requisites to build up trust, right? You have more followers on your page, you have more social proof, right? You've been practicing your marketing, right? And doing that all with much less risk and developing sales in the business you already know how to do, right? If you go from 0 to 100 online fitness, there's a larger learning curve where you can take this natural, gradual step to online, decrease the risk, give yourself the chance to learn, improve your offer and build your marketing material, right? Because that is key for me. The biggest struggle is I'd had none, right? So like getting people offline to work with me, it was like, dude, who are you? Like, yeah, you got a six pack, I guess, but like, I don't know you. You're all the way across the world, right? Um, and so, uh, the way you do it, the hybrid model is you're going to learn how to sell these larger packages, right? You can do 3,500, you know, group model, and then you cut down on the dollars per hour that you're training. They want to work one-on-one. You can do 5,500. You're going to have longer lifetime value than online companies because, right, local people stay around more, right? And then you're also going to build out a hybrid nutritional program. You're going to learn how to fulfill nutrition on an app, which you need to learn how to get really good at. Virtually, right? Like personal trainers, coaches who don't do nutrition, I've been there. We're terrible at getting really awesome transformations that are really eye popping for social media because we don't work on nutrition, right? How many, raise your hand, I've been there, that we've had clients that we worked with for years that become our friends, don't listen anymore, haven't made any progress, right? So we need to get a break away from that. We're no longer training with friends. We're training with people who are hungry to get results because I need those results, right? That's what's going to allow me to get freedom. You're a personal trainer, right? You can start off by selling like, hey, we're going to do the workouts in person, nutrition on this, right? Sell you the package, 3,500, 5,500 if they're doing one-on-ones. Or if you have like a personal training studio, right? You can do hoteling. Like, yeah, if you just want to come in, there's somebody on staff here that can, answer questions. You don't necessarily get fully one-on-one, but the workouts are there, the nutrition's there, right? There's a $2,400, whatever it is. You can mix and match it all you want. You can even do like, hey, I basically, this is like training you virtually, but what we do is we meet once a week. I don't need to be there for every workout. You need to be able to work out whenever you have the availability. I'm going to show you how to work out the most effective way without having to spend, a significant amount of time in the gym, right? I'm going to show you how to do the nutrition, what's really going to matter. And then we're going to meet up once a week for just some community thing, right? That's going to increase retention, right? People are, yeah, that's awesome. Like that totally makes sense. Like pitch it to them. Like if I have to show and if I have to be a rep counter for you and show you how to do a push up every single time, and I'm not teaching you these things, like I'm not setting you up for a lifetime of radical transformation in health. And so then you have to decide, am I going to go am I going to stay hybrid, right? Where you probably have increased lifetime value. You can create more supply and demand. You can create more of a lifestyle business, right? When I say supply and demand, like, hey, my spots are full, right? You create scarcity. I'm the expert guru in this area. You can either charge me 10 or, pay me $10,000 or wait till the next opening, right? Easier referrals, right? Like Jen, who gets an awesome transformation while she's out drinking wine with her friends, is probably going to be much more inclined to refer somebody who's local. You give them a little card, like they're right down the street. Take this into them. Taking this card that gets you one free XYZ thing, right? And then it's easier to have consistent live touch points, which keeps increased lifetime value. So you can do this whether you want to do a low ticket subscription. It's going to be harder. You need to start typically with higher ticket, somewhat higher to give you more leverage, more dollars per the hours that you're working, increase the capital, and then you can kind of come up with a lower ticket membership, especially if you don't have a large following. You can be that middle trainer, right, where you charge $350 a month virtually or hybrid. And then that's probably going to increase the lifetime value because it's not a price point that prices you out. Or you're like us, where we charge like the 3,000, the 5,000, right? We don't want to keep people around for forever. And our price point really kind of keeps people from not staying around forever. We kind of price ourselves out of that. But then again, right, we're always getting a churn of people who are hungry, right? Giving us those testimonials versus people who kind of fall into a funk and maybe become your best friend, right? You just have to choose what works best for you in your business. And then at this point, when you have your nest egg of cash, right, you've built up your marketing, you know how to drive awareness, leads, and sales online. You're getting these amazing results and testimonials. Now you can decide if you just want to, all you have to do is just broadcast your marketing out a little bit further. And so that is the hybrid model. So right now, offer for you if you want to learn more about the hybrid model, kind of start applying it to your business. What you can do is book a strategy session with me below. Just fill out the form, book a call, and then whether or not, obviously, we're going to talk about coaching programs. It's not a high pressure sale. It's not going to be $10,000 for 4 months. That's too much to get a business going. But whether or not you join or work with me, I'm going to give you your best next steps, how to kind of start growing smaller, easier, hybrid approach, getting online. I'm going to give you your best next steps, some strategy to move forward. And if you show up to the call, I'm going to give you basically our Instagram script ad strategy that you're going to basically learn exactly what you need to say, script out your ads to hyper target a specific niche in your local area, how to set up the ads, and start driving traffic to your page. That's going to give you the capability to get outbound permission and get that going. Avoid the cold outreach like I did, and avoid really spending way too much for VSLs and practicing with that. That's just way too much ad spend. So book the call below. Again, you'll get the Instagram ad strategy and scripts, regardless if you join. And then I'll also give you insight onto how you can kind of get your needle moving forward in your business a little bit faster. So that is the hybrid niche coaching model to get your business started faster, easier, with less risk and cash in 2024.